Michael Hennessy Jr, thanks for joining me. You must just be relieved to be out on the 22nd of August because a lot of the guys who fight 6 and 4 rounds aren't going to get out till next year.
Yeah, of course. I'm feeling very lucky and very blessed to be on such a great undercard, behind closed doors, because as you say, there's not many spots on each card. There's about 5 fights. So I'm very lucky, and it looks like I'm going to be boxing about 4 times before the end of the year.
That's wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to be very active, and I'm going to make up for all this lost time this year.
But you're only 20, you're not 21 till the end of the year, so, you've got plenty of time.
Loads of time, yeah, but, more fights the better for me.
Yeah.
You only get better at boxing, don't you?
Yeah, I knew you were boxing. From speaking to your dad, I knew you were boxing as an amateur, but I never realised what a comprehensive amateur career you had. I mean, you beat Mark Dickinson, didn't you, as an amateur, as one of your wins? How many amateur fights did you have?
Yeah, I did. I had probably just over 100 amateur fights. I think I was boxing between England and Ireland. I was spending a hell of a lot of time over in Ireland, and you can get a fight over there anytime you want. It's like having a cup of tea to them. So yeah, I did well in the amateurs. I probably didn't achieve as much as I should have done due to politics. I got to 3 national finals. Lost 2 of them on splits, which is heartbreaking. I felt like I should have had at least 1 or 2, but it is what it is. The amateurs was all about learning for me, so I fought anyone and everyone, and picked up some very notable wins during the process, and valuable experience that will put me in good stead for the pro game.
Yeah, I mean, you started boxing at 11. I can't imagine that your family encouraged it. Your mum and dad, but for a lot of reasons. What made you say, I want to box?
Well, I was like I say, I was going to the all my dad's shows growing up, and I used to love it. I just fell in love with boxing, like being around all the fighters, the trainers and stuff, and backstage for all the fights and watching at ringside. I just absolutely loved it, and I always knew that it's what I wanted to do. And I'd be in the garden with my mates in a pair of little 8-ounce knuckle dusters that my dad would leave lying around from the fights, and we'd be having tee-ups in the garden. And my dad, he didn't want me fighting. He knows how hard the game is, and he said I wasn't allowed to go to the gym until I was 11 if I still wanted to.
I'll have to go back to the 11 again. Sorry, mate. Right, no, that's good. Right. I don't know what ended. It stopped recording suddenly. So you went to the gym at 11 years of age, and it couldn't have been a decision that pleased your parents.
No, absolutely not. My dad made the deal with me to go to the gym at 11 if I still wanted to, and that time came, and I still wanted to. So he stuck to his word, and we never looked back. But it's a decision. It's a decision that my mum still not happy with to this day, and it's only got worse because my little sister now, Fran, she's boxing, and she's a great talent, a lot of power, but it's a nightmare for my mum. She hates it.
You spar with your sister?
Yeah, I spar with her all the time. She keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. She's got crazy power for a young girl, that's for sure.
Yeah. One of the reasons I said it, your family might have been against you, and it might have given you second thoughts, was the heartbreak your dad went through. A couple of, or maybe more than a few fighters have left him unjustly when he's done a great job, and I thought that might have put you off professional boxing, whereas you could have stayed amateur. Guys you beat like Mark Dickinson and near to the Olympics, you could have gone on and maybe got on the squads. Yeah,
potentially. Pro boxing's always been the goal for me, though. I've always dreamed of winning world titles in the pros. It's mad to say, but the Olympics that was never my dream to be. Although it's an amazing achievement, and of course anyone would love to go and do it. My dream's always been professional world titles. And when you said about potentially putting me off pro boxing because of the heartbreak my dad had when he'd have guided fighters all the way to world titles and done great things for them, and then they unjustly leave him. I treat that as motivation, because I'd like to one day, go to the top with my dad and stay at the top and show him the loyalty he deserves, which would be, I feel like that would be amazing feeling for me, and a great story.
There was a reading that you went to Whitgift on a sports scholarship. Was that for boxing, or is it football or another sport? They're all cricketers there, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it was all round really. I played a bit of football, but it was mainly because I was doing so well with my boxing and stuff. And I also did a lot of cross country running and athletics as well. I was quite a good 800-meter runner, so I represented them at that a few times, quite a lot.
Yes, they never try to turn you in a cricketer for Surrey. Most of them all play for Surrey in England there, don't they?
I wasn't interested in cricket. That wasn't for me.
But I can imagine, yeah, cricket and boxing, different ends of the spectrum.
For sure. Cricket's a bit nicer, isn't it?
A lot nicer, lot nicer. But looking at your early fights, I mean, you had 4 fights, and one of your wins was against Alistair Warren. I mean, I know Alistair's only won 11 out of these, 40 fights, but that's a solid win when you think he's beaten Chad Sugden, who headlines the bill when you box on August the 22nd against Shakhan Pitters. He's had some great wins. And Marcus Morrison he's beaten as well.
Of course, yeah. The Alistair Warren fight, that was a massive learning fight. He's an extremely tough and relentless fighter, and he's like you say, his record does not do him justice. He's pulled some bag. He's beat some good fighters, and not only did I beat him, but I beat him whilst giving half a stone away in weight on the day. And Alistair Warren's a hard enough fight when you're the same weight. When he's got half a stone on you, it's even tougher. And I came through. I got the win and learned a hell of a lot. I learned a hell of a lot. I'd probably say it was my toughest fight in the pros to date.
Yeah.
But
what sort of things was he saying to you in the ring? I can imagine him whispering all sorts in your ear and stuff.
You know what? He wasn't really like that, to be fair. He's quite respectful. I liked Alistair. I had a nice chat with him after the fight, and yeah, it was just business in the ring. We just went at it for 6 rounds. And
he went home with a nice few quid with a smile on his face, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think he had time to talk. He was on my chest the whole time, throwing punches.
What's your first memory of boxing? You said you've been going since you was a young kid to your father's shows.
Yeah, my very first. I've got a few early memories. I remember sitting on Dave Walker's lap after he won the Southern Area title, and he was doing his interview. I remember being at the Junior Witter DeMarcus Corley fight when he won the world title. And then Cole Froch beating Jean Pascal in 2008. I was front row, sat on Tyson Fury's lap after his professional debut.
Oh, was that?
So, yeah. Sorry?
Yeah, it's incredible memories, aren't they, though?
Mad memories, yeah. It's great to look back on, for sure.
I mean, one memory I don't think you might not look back on as well. I think there were some things went on behind the scenes out there when you got held to a draw in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
What was going on there?
So, yeah, that's a mad story in itself. I was scheduled to fight Abdul Fattah, who at the time was like 1-3, lost 1, or something like that. And Carl Lamotti ended up fighting him because I don't know why he pulled out. I think it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks before, and they were looking for an opponent for me. And because of the visa situation, it had to be someone who was already over there.
Right. Yeah.
So the lad I ended up fighting was Farhad Ratada from Afghanistan, and he'd been training out there for I think a few months, and he was in tremendous shape, of course. But we had we couldn't find any footage on him or anything. All we were told was that he was 4-0, and that he was a fighter. He comes to fight, a bit of a swinger. So we were like, all right, we'll take it, but we want to see some footage on him. And then while we were out there, my dad's got I'm not going to say who, but a guy who was out there behind the scenes sort of rang my dad up and said to him that this is a bad match for Mick Jr. because this guy will knock him out. He's a strong man. He's been in training camp out there for like a couple months, and he's in tremendous shape. And he also had a good amateur career as well, I was told. So my dad sort of went looking for other opponents to bring in, like a smarter match where we could sort of see footage as well, because we had no idea what we were walking into. And because of the visa situation, they put us in this ultimatum whereby it was either fight Farhad or we both didn't fight at all. And my dad wanted to pull the plug and just say, look, we'll leave this one, like we'll fight on one of my next shows. And I was like, I wasn't having it. It was such a massive platform for myself. And, you know, I really wanted to take the opportunity and you know, impress. But so we ended up going through with it. And if anything, you know, if anyone was in danger of being knocked out at any point, it was him. I had him close to gone in the second round a couple of times. So, and I believe I won the fight anyway, as did Channel 5, as did the Asian broadcaster. If you watch it back on YouTube, they all had me winning at the end of the fight. And then, you know, they gave it majority draw. One of the judges scored it to me. Two judges scored it 38-38. But it is what it is. We didn't really want the 4-rounder either, but they said it was 4 rounds or nothing as well.
Yeah,
and like
6, yeah.
Yeah, like it's easy. It's so easy to draw over 4 rounds, isn't it? And you could have one dodgy round, which I did in the third, but I still felt like I won. I won the first 2 very comfortably, and the 4th round I won, and very worst ways you'd call it a draw. So I definitely believe I won the fight, but you know, it is what it is. I look back at it as an experience, and I move forward.
Is it a little bit confusing when you go into the ring, in the sense that your dad trained you, but he's not in your corner, and Peter Fury usually takes over the reins at night? I think you use Lee Wilkins' gym, don't you?
Yeah, my dad's trained me since the age of 11, but it's very, you know, Peter's very good in the corner. He's operated at the highest level, and he keeps things simple. He won't start telling me things to do that I haven't worked on and stuff like this. He knows what he's doing, Peter. So that doesn't really affect me. It's a blessing to have him in the corner, really, after the level he's operated at. And yeah, but like I say, it'd be ideal, my dad in my corner, which he is working on getting his trainer's license soon, when everything's back to normal. So he will be in my corner at some point. But yeah, for now, it's great having Peter in my corner, and like Lee's always in the corner as well, my amateur coach. Body Shots, which I boxed for over in England, and I boxed for St Monica's over in Ireland as well. Owen Murphy's in the corner, so they're all like family to me in my corner. And it doesn't really affect me.
Does your dad lose it when he's training with you? Because I've seen him shout sometimes. You know, does he have a blast at you sometimes? Because he can lose it, can't he, Mick?
He can, yeah. He's got a temper sometimes, but it's only when I'm doing things wrong. Like we spend so much time together. It's only natural that we'll clash at points. But ultimately, we're very close, and there's no one I prefer in my corner.
What's the greatest compliment your dad's ever paid you?
Listen, he compliments me when it's due. You know, he gives credit where credit's due, but he'll also give criticism where it's due also. So he has given me a lot of compliments. I can't think off the top of my head what the best one is, but he does pay me compliments when I earn them. So
yeah, I was reading earlier that you're looking at maybe winning a title of some kind later this year, next year. Is that you still on course for that? Considering there has been this 4-month gap, but then again, if you've got 4 more fights this year, you might be ready by next year.
Yeah, so I was speaking to my dad, and because of the situation with the limited fights on each card behind closed doors, the next 4 fights before the end of the year, there'll be 6-rounders looking to step the opponents up. They're looking for sort of even matches because of limited spaces. So that'll put me in good stead for next year when I up the rounds to 8 and 10. And like you say, potentially I'd like a title by the end of 2021, whether it's English, Southern Area, WBC Youth, one of them.
Yeah. With this layoff, it seems that you're on terrestrial TV, a major audience. Then I think the days of guys like you who are coming through the ranks, where your dad bringing in someone, well, this is someone you'll learn from for 4 rounds, but or 6 rounds, but you're gonna win comfortably, are over, aren't they? Because they want very good fights behind closed doors.
Exactly. Not people at home don't want to see one-sided fights like setups. They want to see good hard fights, and that's what I want. I've been working extremely hard during this lockdown period, and I'm ready, like mentally, physically. I'm ready for these hard fights. I'm ready to step up now.
Yeah, and finally, your ambition, your ultimate ambitions in boxing, obviously to win a world title, but what to do with that world title?
Yeah, of course, that's every boxer's dream to turn as pro. I want to win. I want to win every belt at every level. So I want to, you know, English, Irish, British, Commonwealth, European, and then all the world titles. That's my dream. I'm dreaming extremely big, and then defend them a few times, and then retire with full health and live a happy life with my family. That's the dream. But obviously, it's not as simple as that. So I'm gonna keep. Steve, you there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, I thought it was frozen. Yeah, I'm keep working and try and achieve as much as that as possible.
You're not going to become a promoter, are you?
No, it's too hard. Promoting's too hard a job. I tell you what, I have got a passion for training people. That's a career I'd look to after boxing.
You'd be good at it. You'd be good at it.
Boxing's my passion, and I love every aspect of the game. Apart from the promoting, I'll leave that, but training 100%, I'd love that.
Michael Jr., thanks very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. You know, you're a great talker. You've got plenty to say, and it's all nice. So you do for me. Thanks very much, Steve. Appreciate the interview. And send your best to your dad for me. I will do, Steve. He told me to send you his best also. So he's good. You man. Go way back. Yeah. Too long, mate. When I think about how far I go back, I'll give away my age if I do that. You look 21. You look about my age. I'll interview you every day of the week. You keep saying that. Thanks a lot, Michael. No, thank you.
For all boxing info, news, and latest interviews, amateur and pro across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.